Hello friends, in this video I am going to explain the concept of constructor overloading in object-oriented programming with C++. So constructor overloading is a very important feature of object-oriented programming with C++, and I will show you an example program, an illustrative program which will help you to understand the basics of the implementation of constructor overloading in C++. So let's get started. Now let's go to this open. Go by one level up and see this constructor overloading. So we'll open this one, constructor overloading.cbp, and explain you line by line what I have done in this program. So first is the hash include iostream, and then followed by using namespace std, then class example. So class example is the class which I have defined over here, which contains only one private variable, private member variable a of the integer data type int a. After that, so constructor overloading is a concept whereby the constructor can be made to work in different manner depending upon the parameters associated with the constructors and depending upon the code written in the body of the constructors. So in different cases, different types of constructors, different constructors will be called or invoked in this program. So overloading means some sort of polymorphism, that is one thing having this the same thing having different formats or different forms. Poly means many and morphos means forms. So from that the word polymorphism comes, and it is an essential feature of object-oriented programming methodology. And this constructor overloading is nothing but a type of function overloading, which is nothing but the essential feature polymorphism. So this constructor overloading will help us to understand how different types of different constructors in a class can work at different times as the situation demands. So let's see that I have written a constructor which is the default constructor, and where there are no parameters, there is not a parameterized constructor. So there are no parameters, and example is the name of the constructor because it should have the same name as the class name, and it has a statement a is equal to 0, that is whenever any object without any argument is being created of the class example, automatically the member variable a associated with that particular object will be initialized to the value 0. So after that I have written yet another constructor having the name example with a parameter x of the integer data type. So it is a parameterized constructor, and this constructor has a single expression statement in it, that is a is equal to x, that is whatever is supplied as a parameter, whatever is supplied as a parameter to the object when it is created of this example class, that parameter will be assigned to the member variable a of that particular object. So a is equal to x is that line which helps us to initialize the member variable a of the object having been declared, having been created with a parameter x, and the value of x will be assigned to the member variable a of that particular object. So this line a is equal to x assigns that value of parameter to the member variable a of the object of the class example. Now after that I have written another function void get data, and in that I have I have taken an input from the user by these two lines, cout enter a value c in a. So user can also supply any value of value to a. In that case the constructor will not be invoked. This get data value get data will be invoked. Constructor will be obviously invoked in the first instance. After that, that constructors, the value given by the constructor to the variable member variable a will be overwritten by the value supplied by the user from the standard input device. So this This is the get data function. After that, I have written the put data function, which helps us to see the output as a is equal to a. So after that, we go to the main section and see what have I done there. Example E1. So example E1 is an object of the class example having no parameters associated with this statement, and therefore this will invokes. I'm writing a comment line beside so that you can easily understand when you go through this program once again. Invokes constructor. Suppose I'm writing like this: invokes no argument constructor. That is the constructor which I have defined in the first instance. No argument constructor. That is the constructor having no parameters associated with it. Constructor. No argument constructor. So automatically we can visualize that we can visualize from this statement that the member variable a will get a value of 0 for the object E1. And in the next line we see that I have created yet another object E2 with the help of a parameter associated with it. So this is the parameterized constructor. So it will obviously, this line will invoke the parameterized constructor. So automatically we can see that by this line the member variable a of the object E2 gets the value of 5 by the help of the parameterized constructor. Now I have yet again created another object, example E3, and this will also invoke the first constructor, that is this one. I will just copy down this one and paste it over here. So it also invokes, this statement also invokes the no argument constructor, and the member variable a associated with this E3 has also become 0 by the invocation of this no argument constructor. After that, I have called the get data function with the help of the object E3 dot get data. So whatever value is being input by the user from the standard input device, that is the keyboard, will be assigned to the member variable a of the object E3 by this statement. So the 0 which was originally in the member variable a of E3 object will be overwritten by the input given by the user. So E3.getData calls this getData function. This is the getData function. Enter a value C in A, and after that I have called the putData function with the help of all the three objects as E1.putData, E2.putData, E3.putData to see what are the values of the different member variables. What are the values of the member variable A in the different objects E1, E2, E3. So we can easily assume, we can easily expect the output quite like this. A is equal to putData E1.putData means E1 is having a value 0 of the A associated with it, and E2 will have a value of A as I think the value which I have supplied in the parenthesis, yes, 5. So from this line we can get an output of A is equal to 0. From this line we can get an output of A is equal to 5, and from this line we can get an output of A is equal to any value which is being input by the user. So let's see whether the desired output comes from this program, output out of this program. So let's go to build and run the program. Window opens in front of us. It helps us to it just asks us to enter a value from the keyboard. Suppose I am giving a value 8. Press the enter, and what we see, A is equal to 0. That is, this one is coming from this line. E1.putData, that should have printed A is equal to 0, so we get the desired output. E2.putData should have printed A is equal to 5, so we get this value A is equal to 5 as well. E3.putData should have displayed the value entered by the user, that is in this case it should output 8 from this third function call of put data. So see, let's see, a is equal to 8. So we get the expected output from this program, and I hope I am quite clear in making you understand the concept of overloading of constructors. That is, different constructors are different are invoked at different times as the situation demands. And I hope it is quite clear to you. And still, if you have any doubts and queries in your mind on this entire explanation, you can well post your doubts and queries into the comment section below, so that I can address to those comments and queries. Thanks for watching this video, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to DigiGuide. Thanks again.